My name's Michelle and I'm from Jim's Pet Patrol Kilsyth, currently residing in Croydon Hills. My division of Pet Patrol, we do lots of dog walking, we do basic lead training, I do drop-in visits for people when they're away, have playtime and do some walks while people are away, feed their dogs, refresh their water, that sort of thing. And I do the waste removal, which a lot of people like because the one thing they don't want to do is go out and pick up the dog poo and clean out the cat litter. So we do a lot of that as well. A lot of what I do are dog walking. At the moment I've got like a semi-retired guide dog, so they need someone to take the dog for a walk. Hey! Take the dog for a walk so it gets a little bit of R&R rather than just walking and always working. So that's one of the things that I do. A couple of people get me to come over and do sniff courses with their dogs just to entertain them, get their brain working so that they're not so destructive later on in the day, that sort of thing. We do pool parties where we have the dogs in the, in the kiddie pools. Lots of things, there's lots of alternatives too that we can do on, say, hot days when it's too hot to take the dog for the walk. That's when we might set up something like a sniff course in your own backyard where we hide things and get the dogs thinking and working and keeping that brain sharp. And we also drop off ice blocks full of treats for them just to cool them down, that sort of thing. And yeah, usually when I go and do a waste removal, it's usually incorporated along with a dog walk or something like that as well. So it's not just one service. Most people like to sort of book you in for a couple of different things. I have a couple of teachers that obviously they're at school all day and their dog's at home. So they like me to come in, walk their dog for them or play with their dog while they're at work, just to give their dog something to entertain them during the day. I've also got a few people that aren't able to physically walk their dogs, so I'll go in and take their dog for a walk. So with this is similar to what happens when we do lead training right at the beginning. So it's getting them used to the commands and different environments. So if we were walking in our local neighbourhood, he would be fine and he'd be walking next to her, he'd be looking at her, getting the treats every time he looks. So he has a word that we say every time he looks at her as she's walking. She says yes, which means he knows that he's about to get a treat. However, here we are in a different environment and it just goes to show that you do need to train your dogs in different areas, not just in one place. So there's lots of new smells here, there's lots of distractions, lots of things that he wants to go and explore, which means he's behaving a little bit erratic. So when we're training your dog, we don't like to just train them in the one area. We sort of like to take them to a few different places. To start with, we would do an assessment in your backyard, see what's required, and then we would start training from there. And it is a process. As I've said, Levi's in the process of learning, so he's not going to be perfect, obviously, and no dog is, and it does take time. And we do like to work with you as well so that you know what we're doing so that when you take your dog for a walk, you can actually replicate the training that we're doing with them. And we work with them so that the words that we use are the same. So say if we're going for a walk, we get to an intersection and we say to the dog, wait, sit. So they do that, they get their treat, and then we say free. So they know that they're free to go and we cross the road. Whereas if their owner is saying stop, drop, go, they're different commands, so it's not going to work. So we have to be on the same page with our training. They have to know what we're doing so that they can do that as well. The difference is they get that one-on-one time with us. So rather than having one trainer with 8 or 9 dogs and having to try and focus on all of them at once, you only get that sort of snippet of training. You don't get that one-on-one time with them. I also find that I think dogs are actually naughtier in their own environment, so you get to see them as they really are. For example, with Levi, when we take him out, this is not a very good example, but when we take him out, he's actually usually on the best behaviour. So if we were to take him to a group training with someone, they go, oh, he's such a good boy, he's doing everything he's told. Get him in his backyard and Levi, come, and he'll look at you and go, nah, don't want to do that. So it's really beneficial to actually see a dog in their own environment and see how they are actually behaving without that distraction of other dogs. And then we can work on his training, and then eventually maybe do some training with somebody else and another dog. But I think it's really important to see how they really are when they're not on their best behaviour. So if you'd like to book your local Jim's Pet Patrol franchisee, give us a call on 131 546.